From what you're telling me, it seems like you've been through a good bit, Dr. Angeline said in a preposterous tone, once I was done summing up the past few months. I was hesitant at first because I wasn't super fond of some shrink for monsters digging around in my head. But listening to her talk, I was starting to feel like, at the very least, she was interested in what I had to say. Can I ask you something a little personal? Yeah, I guess so. After a short pause to formulate a question, she asked, Have you considered quitting and going back to New York? And if not, why? I wasn't expecting that question to hit me so hard. I don't know what I was expecting her to ask, but not that. It just occurred to me that I never thought about what I would do once I paid off all my debts to Adeline. I actually don't know. Why? I asked back at her. Well, and I don't mean anything by this. It seems you came here because She paused again, flipping through her notes. Giant ass-eating bug monsters from hell tried to kill me, she said, reading the quote from earlier in our conversation. That's the giant ass man-eating bug, not ass-eating, I corrected her, causing her face to turn a little red. Oh, I thought that sounded odd, she mumbled, scratching something on the pad. Sorry about that. Anyway, you came here running away from something you perceived as danger to you. But, from the outside looking in, it would seem you're in considerably more danger doing what you're doing for work. And then there's these other activities involving Mr. James Cravenock, your unfortunate friend, Rissa. This ordeal with Nevlin Corporation. You seem to be having these life-threatening close calls on a weekly basis, and compounding on top of them with these extracurricular endeavors. What are you getting at, Doc? I'm not sure yet. I'm just making an observation, mostly. But I'm interested to hear your reasoning for continuing to allow yourself to be inserted into these situations, she explained inquisitively. Well, I guess, thinking back, at first, I wasn't really given a choice. First, Adeline didn't give me a choice about working for her. Then Holly threatened to break my spine if I didn't spy on Adeline. And Hook? Well, he's just not the kind of guy who takes no for an answer. Jose, would you say you're more than occasionally feeling like you're trapped under a great deal of pressure? She asked, leaning forward in her chair. I guess so. I've got a bunch of paranormal things constantly telling me what to do. Sounds about right, I responded. Yes, it does. And you said you used to have trouble spending money on frivolous things. But lately you've been... She stopped to check her notes again. Buying the occasional movie prop from a rageaholic feral sociopath disguised as a Cabbage Patch Kid. Is it okay if I speculate as to sudden shift in spending habits? My spending habits haven't. Sure, go ahead. I think it's something you can control in a situation where you otherwise feel like you're not in control of much of anything else. Would you say that's accurate? I can't poke any holes in that. Okay, it seems we're running a little short on time. So before you leave, I want you to try something for me, and more importantly for yourself. I want you to give saying no a try. Put yourself first. As for your spending habits, I'm not telling you how to spend your own hard-earned money, and I do think spending some on yourself is good, within reason. It seems like something that helps. In fact, I'd recommend even using a little to take Destiny on a date. A real date, as an apology, not necessarily for your mental state, but for keeping it all bottled up until you snapped at her, and to clear the air. I think you two have a lot to talk about, and sooner the better. That sound like something you're okay with? She asked as she stood up and walked behind the desk. Yeah, you may be onto something, Doc, I said to her after standing up. But, just one more thing. You didn't really tell me how I'm supposed to know if any of this is real or not. Well, how about this? For the sake of your own mental state, let's both just assume for the time being that reality is real. After all, I'd rather not consider myself a figment of your imagination. Okay, sure. I guess I don't have much choice anyway. Good. And here, take this. If you're ever having any kind of Anything that you think I can help with, don't hesitate to call, she told me, hand me one of her business cards. Let me be your guardian, Angeline. Clever, I said as I read the card. I like to think so. Goodbye, Jose. I'll see you again in a few days. The lady at the front desk will schedule your next appointment. Just tell her I said find you something specifically for the next few days and she'll take care of everything. Are you okay? How'd it go? Rissa asked as I walked out of Dr. Angeline's office, where she had been waiting for me with Destiny, who seemed to be in the middle of applying some more sunblock. But she didn't wait for my answer before jogging over and wrapping her arms around me. You really freaked us out, she said with a shaky voice. Yeah. I'm really sorry about all that, and I hate to admit it, but I'm actually going to need you to fill me in because I don't remember much of what happened at all, I answered sheepishly. How's Destiny? Well, she tried to answer. But by the time she could, I had already walked close enough to the driver's side door of the car to see that she wasn't applying sunblock. She was fixing the makeup from where she'd been crying. Stopping before I got there, I turned back and walked to Rissa. I'm the biggest piece of shit on earth, I told her as I dragged my feet across the concrete parking lot. Say, you want to help me fix this? Hey, is everything ready? I asked Rissa the next night as I walked into the apartment after work. Yeah, it's all here and you're missing a piece of your pants, she pointed out. Oh, yeah, I said checking the spot she was talking about. One of my deliveries had a pet or something. Missed the meaty parts, though. Working for Cerber really is dangerous, isn't it? I never really paid attention when I was in the bike, but you really almost die a lot, don't you? Yeah. Anyway, the stuff, what about her? Is she here yet? The food's all on the counter, and yeah, she is. And she should be ready soon. I still don't know how you convinced her of all people to do this, but I'm definitely impressed. Awesome. I'm going to take a shower, and when I come back down, we'll get started, I told her as I walked upstairs. A few hours later, Destiny walked through the front door before stopping and seeing me laying on the floor clutching my sides, losing consciousness with tears streaming down my face. As I laughed all the oxygen out of my lungs. What's going on here? She asked, looking around to see Rissa leaning over the trash and gagging her guts out. No, really, tell me. I can't. Oh my God, Rissa, my sides hurt. I can't believe you have to. Oh, I wheezed over at her as she fought the urge to puke. Destiny, your boyfriend, that caveman over there, but he was cooking a surprise dinner for you, and when I came to check it out, if he needed help, he let out the most heinous fart I have ever smelled in my entire life. She tried to explain as she heaved into the can. And when I asked why he did that, do you know what he told me? Tell her, Jose. I said I was just taking the food to Flavor Town. I cackled as Rissa made one last retch, covering her mouth before dashing to the toilet. Oh my God, Jose, that was actually pretty hilarious. Destiny giggled, giving up and keeping a serious look on her face. And this is all very sweet, she added, looking at the food on the table. Oh, that's not even the best part. Check this out, I told her as I hoisted myself off the floor. Hey, she's here! Time to shine! I yelled back into the apartment. Destiny squeaked as she saw Abigail walk out in a tiny butler outfit, holding a towel on one arm and holding a silver platter in the other hand. Oh my God, look at her! How? I have my ways, I said with a grin. So, how's this for an apology? I asked her as she admired the tiny grumpy butler standing in the living room. As she poked and pawed at the mini butler outfit, Abigail shot me one hell of an evil look. I'm in danger. You're definitely right on track, she ended with a smile of her own. How does a heating element even break? What are you even doing to your oven? Holly barked at one of the tenants from across the parking lot as I opened the door to walk Abigail out later that night. So you're really giving me the King Arthur stuff back after all this? She questioned as she turned to face me before getting into the Cerber vehicle she had called before. Shh, yes! I don't want Destiny to know. I'll get at you tomorrow, I urged her, covering her mouth in panic. I'm assuming you've never seen a vampire's teeth, judging by where your hand is right now. She mumbled through my palm as she opened her mouth like a bear trap to brandish 2 rows of guillotine-like teeth where her usual ones should be. Holy shit, why though? What the hell are those? I squealed as I snatched my hand away as fast as possible to save my fingers. It's part of how we feed. These bite a hole, then. This got an opening, she said, sticking her tongue out, the end opening and flowering into rows and rows of small blobs. Then a terrifying liquid agent is injected, and... Human Capri Sun. Got it. I stopped her. You know, you looking like a kid makes that just like 100 times creepier. If this is a delusion, apparently Guillermo del Toro wrote the damn script for it, I said with a shiver. I have to be dreaming, I said to myself the next day as I stared at a picture of Abigail with Guillermo del Toro hanging on the top of a wall. What are you looking at? She asked as she walked up to the counter and onto a stool from the back. You know Guillermo del Toro? I asked in astonishment. How? Oh, you mean you never realized? I was where he got the idea for the vampires in the stories. Blade 2, The Strain, me. He even let me be an extra in a few episodes of the TV adaptation for The Strain. He said he thought it would be funny if the only real vampire in the show played a random normal person in the background. She explained with a little pride in her voice. You know, I never asked, why movie prop store as a front? I like movies. Cinema in general is such an amazing medium. You don't understand because for you, they've always been around. But for most of the time I've been alive, they didn't exist. First they found a way to make pictures move. Then they found a way to make pictures of real people and things move. Then they made them make sound too. Then they were in color. For all the years paranormal beings have existed, they weren't able to do a handful of what people do in a few short years. She went on. I never thought of it like that. I guess that's why Destiny likes him so much too. That reminds me, did your ridiculous apology plan work? She asked, which surprised me. Her showing what seemed like a genuine interest in my life for the first time. Her being, well, not exactly nice, but not horrible. It just seemed so out of place. Yeah, more or less. She said that we still need to have a serious talk about being open with each other, but she doesn't seem to be sangry, trademark, anymore. Anyway, here's your Arthur stuff, I told her, lifting the tub onto the table. Alright, time to do some dirt, I sighed to myself as I left the shop, still tired from riding the whole way with that heavy costume set. But as soon as I hit the active button on my phone, it started ringing. What the hell? I thought as I looked back at the screen and saw Adeline calling. Jose, I see that you just went active. Are you sure that's the best idea right now, given your condition? No, I don't. But it's literally the least nerve-wracking thing I've got going on tonight. Especially with... I stopped myself when I realized that I almost said what I've been thinking since the collector's house. If you don't say it, it's not real, right? I just need to work, okay? Okay, but I'm warning you. Any incidents that reflect poorly on Cerber, or me personally, and... Her sentence was punctuated by a chorus of hisses I assumed to come from her. But her... hair? Yeah, I understand. I assured her before hanging up and riding off into one of my favorite waiting areas. Oh, hey, look, it's Relic's building, I said to myself as I got what I decided would be my last run of the night. Never had this customer, but... Oh, Christ. I stopped when I saw the blinking third-tier icon next to the username, managing to shake the aggravation and anxiety off by thinking of the higher payout this run would get me. Hello? I've got your food, I spoke into the mic at the entrance. But is this really it? Just seems like, I don't know, not a whole lot for what your delivery bill's gonna run you. But when I was done talking, the door buzzed to let me in without any response, so I assumed they were cool with it anyway. I actually make a lot of deliveries to this building, I thought as I walked down the hall to the right room. Once I found it, I gave the door a good couple of knocks before, in an act of impossible good luck, I happened to look down and notice a large red stain at the base of the door. At that moment, I got a worse gut feeling, and then realized there wasn't any light shining out from behind the door. And then I noticed the doorknob slowly, quietly begin to turn. My deer on Adderall survival instincts I had gained from the past deliveries kicked in, and I jumped backwards as fast as I could. The second I did, the door whipped open and a massive hand shot out, clutching at the empty space I had just been occupying.
Borg, is that you? Is this your idea of a... Oh god, you're not Borg.
I squeaked out as a massive beast lumbered out of the dark room. Deciding not to waste any more time on conversation, I made a mad dash for the exit. But the thing was unexpectedly fast. Hearing his thunderous steps closing in behind me, I knew I couldn't keep running straight for the exit. So I made a sharp turn and ran down an intersecting hall, hoping that it would slow him down and give me a chance to find the fire exit somewhere and get to my bike. But it didn't work. The hallway where I picked was a dead end, literally. Not having any other option, I turned and yanked Hook's knife out and got ready for the worst as the monster stampeded towards me. I clenched my eyes as I flinched from the prospect of getting steamrolled by a giant hippo man thing. But nothing happened. I slowly opened my eyes to see none other than Relic flickering between me and it.
Oh my god, Relic, you just saved my ass so hard.
I said, trying to thank him, seeing that the huge ogre had run headlong into him like a chihuahua into a brick wall.
What's today?
Thursday? I answered, a little confused by the question.
No, a specific date.
As soon as I told him, he was gone, blinked out of existence in an instant, along with the ogre. Very literally, a second later he was back, standing by himself right in front of me.
Sorry about that. He's new here. He took a good chunk out of another rider a few days ago.
He explained. I just noticed there's a lot of you guys in this building, I said to him once I finally shook most of the recent near-death delivery off.
It's only us here, actually. More specifically, ones like me who can't fit into the general human population. Cerber, the large reptilian guy you met at the ball game, owns his own location and rents it exclusively to conspicuous paranormals. That's why you and the rest of the local Cerber employees end up here so often. How long would you say it's been?
I didn't actually meet him at, what? Oh, you mean about 45 seconds, I say. Why?
I've been letting his onions caramelize in Jupiter's atmosphere. I think that ought to do.
He said before instantly vanishing and reappearing with a creature more visibly terrified and disheveled than anything I've ever seen in my life, and who now smelled strongly of rotten eggs and ammonia for some reason.
Next time will be the sun,
Relic said as the thing left for his room, before he reached down and took the creature's order out of his bag to keep for himself.
Remember to leave him a good tip,
he called as it rounded a corner and it partially decimated as it tried to run me down. So you're saying that sewer croc has money tied up in paranormal business dealings? He finally asked Relic as he dug a cheeseburger out of the paper bag.
Correct. It makes a lot of sense if you think about it. Why do you ask?
Well, can you keep a secret?